Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely one. How are you doing? I hope life is good for you. So I got asked a really good question the other day by one of my very recent graduates. She was talking about how she'd put a taster event out there. So she's a hypnobirthing teacher, and she put a taster out as in like a free event so that people can understand more about hypnobirthing and see if they want to book. And she had one person sign up and nobody else. And she messaged me and she said, "What should I do, Abby? Should I go ahead with the event or should I cancel the event?" And, you know, this kind of situation happens. It does. Of course, it's happened to me too. You know, we put something out there, we don't get as many people sign up as we want, and we're like, what should I do? Like, actually, should I cancel it, reschedule it, or should I go ahead? But is it going to be a bit awkward? What the people going to think? And, you know, I even have that today, you know. At this stage in my business, there are sometimes things that I put out there and I look and I'm like, oh, there's only this many people signed up. And of course, I think to myself, oh gosh, should I bother running it? But then I always come back to this. Even if just one of those people that have signed up is a little bit interested in what you're offering, it would be a real shame to not get in front of them and show them the wonder of what you offer, you know? So going back to the question that I got asked, my advice was go ahead with it anyway. Give that one person the best possible experience anyway. And actually, if that person goes on and books, what a blooming good outcome of a taster session, you know? To get a booking, like so worth that taster session. And if they don't, well, actually, that's one person in your local area that now really gets what you offer. And even if they decide it's not for them, no doubt they know other people. And if we cancel it, what we're gaining from that, maybe an hour of our time. But actually, if we think of the possible, like, lovely outcomes, the great outcomes, perhaps they override that need to have that little hour of our time, you know? What I also said to her, because this event she was running online, I said, turn up as your best self, let them know that unfortunately a couple of people couldn't make it live, so I'm recording it if that's okay with you. Record it, and then you have not only this time to connect with that person that's turned up, but you also have this incredible recording that you can send to people beyond that event, you know, letting them know that you've run this taster. Did you miss it? Let me know and I'll send you out the recording. And beyond all of that, what do we gain when we run an event? Even if there's not as many people there as we'd like. Well, we gain the experience, we gain the confidence, all these things that come from doing. If we avoid it because not as many people were there as we'd liked, we're missing this great opportunity to really hone in on those skills. Like whenever you run anything in your business, there'll be a first time, there'll be a second time, there'll be a third time, and every time, no doubt you'll tweak it a little bit. You'll feel more confident. You'll maybe change little bits here and there to make it even better. That only comes from experience. So whilst it's really natural to think, oh my gosh, should I cancel this? There's not many people coming. My advice is usually do it anyway and really think about all the things you'll get out of doing it that are not just about bookings or impact. They're about the personal things you'll gain from showing up anyway. In the past, I once had a graduate that had put out an event. This was a paid event and didn't have any bookings. And she had rented a venue. And of course, she felt like, oh my gosh, this is obviously not going ahead. I've got no one to attend. But yet I've still got to pay for the venue. My advice was this: fabulous. You can go to that venue in that hour that you've rented it out for. You can set it up like you are running a course, and this is your great opportunity to film content, to take photos, to show people the setup for next time. You know, why waste that hour when we can get so much from it that doesn't have to be the way that we intended to get stuff out of it, but we can still get really good stuff, you know? So that's my advice for today. If you host an event, if you run some class and you don't get as many bookings as you hoped, think about all the other things you can get from that. They're not always about the bookings, you know? This is how we learn, grow and improve in business. This is how we get good content, good ideas from doing rather than avoiding. And all businesses, especially at the start, have things like this happening. And it's those people that continue regardless that have success. I mean, I am a massive fan of Denise Duffield-Thomas. You know, she's an absolute multimillionaire. She talks a lot about money mindset. She's got books. She's got a podcast. I absolutely love her. If you don't know Denise Duffield-Thomas, definitely look her up. She's fabulous. And she talks about her first events. You know, and I remember her saying that she had something like one person turn up at her first event. Imagine if she'd have taken that as a sign that she wasn't going to be successful. Imagine if she'd have thought, okay, this ain't working out. I'm not going to bother doing it anymore. She didn't. And that's the mindset that we have to have. This mindset of, okay, that was the first time, or that was a one-off. I'm going to do it better next time, you know? It's going to work out differently next time. It's all part of the journey, you know, and one day, you know, these stories of you and the no clients or you and only one other person at an event will be the story that you share with others to spur them on in their business, you know, to show them that actually it's about that resilience, it's about that carrying on even when it feels icky. Even when it feels like things haven't worked out as well as you'd hoped. Okay. So that is my message for today. So if you host an event and you do not get the bookings, absolutely think about all the other things you can get from carrying on anyway. Have a wonderful day, my love. And as always, keep on changing lives. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.